Hi everyone, my name is Bahraini. In this session, we are going to learn how to set up the Linux development environment on a Google Chromebook Pro machine and also try to install MariaDB as a database management system and the Visual Studio Code as the IDE on that machine, and also try to write down a very simple Java application on our Visual Studio Code connected to MariaDB via an appropriate API and retrieve the data from MariaDB and show it in our Visual Studio Code. So let's get started. I have created several steps here for you. So the first step is to enable the Linux development environment on our Chromebook. So for this, you need to go to this icon, click on the launcher, and then scroll down and try to find out your settings. So when you click on settings, this window will show up, and then you need to go all the way down and choose about Chrome OS, and then scroll down, and then find out developers. Once you found out developers, you can see that there is Linux development environment here, and on the right side of this, there is a button called setup. So we can click on the setup, and then it says that setup Linux development environment, and then we click on next. It asks us to enter our username. I entered Bahraini as the username, and I'm going to accept the recommended disk size, which is 10 gigabyte. So I click on install, and then let's wait for a few seconds for the installation to complete. So my system, it takes around 1 minute to complete. So it's not like, as it mentions here, it says that it's a few minutes, but for me it is not a few minutes. So look, the setup, the Linux terminal is already prepared. So I'm gonna minimize this window, and we're gonna work on this terminal window for the other commands. So this is our terminal window, and if I just type pwd to see where are we are at home, Bahraini, and then if I type ls to list if there is anything here, there is nothing here, it shows empty. So ls shows that there is no directory or no files in home Bahraini directory. So let's go back in our slide. That was the first step that we have created. In the second one, on the terminal app, which I have just shown you, we need to go through sudo apt update. So the first thing that we should do in our terminal is to go through this command, and sudo is used to give the administrative privilege to the commands that come after it. So when I type sudo and then apt or apt and then update, this is the first step that we are gonna make sure that the list, the list of our application has been updated to the latest version, but it's not gonna upgrade them. It's just gonna update the list, the existing list. But if you really wanted to upgrade your current applications, you need to write down sudo and then apt upgrade -y. And the reason that we use -y is that if there is any questions during the installation, -y means that you should answer yes to all of the questions during the setup and installation. In order to avoid asking and answering a lot of whys during the installation, I just type -y and press enter. So if there is any app that need to be upgraded, they're gonna be upgraded right now. And as you can see here, there are like a lot of apps that require to be updated. So let's wait for the apps to be updated. And this is our second step. We should wait to see this installation progress to complete, because we need to have the upgraded version of all apps installed on this Linux development environment. So it is 100%. I don't see any error messages. And the next step is to install MariaDB server. So I'm gonna install MariaDB server. In order to do so, we have to insert or enter sudo apt install MariaDB-server and again -y. So let's do that right now, and then enter the following command. So sudo to give like the privilege, the administrative privilege to this apt command. So sudo apt install and then MariaDB-server and then -y. So if I just type sudo apt install MariaDB-server -y, it's going to install the MariaDB server on this computer. So I press enter, and then let's wait for the MariaDB server to install. So this is the third step that we need to go through. So in the fourth step, we should make sure that we are gonna do like secure MariaDB installation. There is no error message here, so we can easily go to secure MariaDB installation. Why do we do that? Why do we need to secure MariaDB installation? Because I'm gonna show you. Let me just type sudo, for example, mysql _ secure _ installation, and then when I press enter, right. So it says that running all parts of this script is recommended for all MariaDB servers in production use. So in order to log into MariaDB to secure it, we will need to the current password for the root user. So I really want to set up the root password for my current installation, as well as some other things. The first thing that it asks me to enter is enter your current password for the root. So I would like to enter root 123 semicolon, all root with like small letters, and then press enter. And then the second question that it asks to secure let's say a MariaDB installation is that it says that switch to Unix underline socket authentication. Yes, I would like to switch to that. That's why I press Y. And then it asks me to change the root password again. Okay, let's type root 123 semicolon. Oh, sorry. We need to press Y and then root 123 semicolon. Re-enter the new password, root 123 semicolon. Then it says that remove anonymous users. So if there are any anonymous users that they are gonna use your MariaDB database, it's gonna remove them for the security purposes. So yes, I would like to remove them. The next thing that it's gonna do is to disallow root login remotely. So if any computers or hackers try to connect to your MariaDB remotely, it's gonna disallow that that service. So I'm gonna press yes. Another question or another thing that it's gonna do is to remove test database and access to it. Yes, I would like to remove any test databases. Yes. And then it says that reload privileged tables now. Yes, I would like to reload the privileged tables. and it says success, cleaning up, all done. So these were all the steps that we need to do to secure our MariaDB installation. So by learning by doing, we'll show you what do we mean by securing MariaDB installation. So this way, and answering the questions, by answering these questions, we secured our MariaDB installation. Now, step number 5 is to verify MariaDB installation. In order to verify MariaDB installation, we need to type this command. So we say sudo and then systemctl status and then MariaDB. So I'm gonna press enter. So if you see active running like this one, this means that the Maria database server has been enabled successfully and it is actively running. So this means that we have successfully installed our MariaDB. I'm gonna press enter, and then press escape and type quit. So I shift and then colon, and then I typed Q to exit. So now we are again in the prompt. So we also verified the MariaDB installation. The step number 6 is to log into the Maria database shell. In order to do so, we need to type sudo mysql -u with the username root and then -p. For -p, it's gonna ask us the password that we have created, root 123 semicolon. I'm gonna press enter. So it says enter your password. I'm gonna type root 123 semicolon, press enter. All right, now we are in the MariaDB, environment. So it says that you can type help or \h for help. Type \c to clear the current input statement, for example. So now we are in a MariaDB environment. If I type like help, it's gonna show us all the commands that you can use. Now we're gonna use this like exit MySQL. So I'm gonna exit. So I just type exit, press enter, and it says bye. So we have just tested, logged into MariaDB and on terminal, and there is no issues so far. So yeah, I have also written here to exit, type exit semicolon, which I have done. So we have successfully completed the first 6 steps. Now let's go to the step number 7. In step number 7, we should make sure that our PHP is installed. So PHP is our web programming language, or we need to make sure that our PHP is installed because we need this PHP installation for the future purposes. So for this, first of all, we have to make sure that the PHP package has been successfully installed. So I'm going to type PHP space -v, and then it says that bash PHP command not found. This means that the PHP has not been installed in this machine. So if the PHP has not been installed in this machine, we have to install it. So we say sudo apt install PHP and then lib Apache 2 -mode -php space -y. So this is the way that we can install our PHP package from Apache resources. So it's in the process of installing PHP. So far almost 70% finished. No error messages. I don't see any error messages here. So far it shows all successful commands. All right, so the PHP has been successfully installed and I don't see any error messages here. This means that so far everything is good. Now we need to go to the next step. Next step is to install the required PHP extension for MySQLi extension. So in order to install MySQLi extension for our PHP, we can follow or enter the following command. For this, we can type sudo apt install php dash mysql dash space -y. So this is for installing the PHP extension for MySQLi extension. So when I press enter here, this is gonna install MySQLi extension of the PHP language, successfully installed. We can also optionally install the PDO. So let me just go and maximize my presentation. We have also PDO underline MySQL extension. This is an optional, extension here for you. So and PDO stands for PHP data objects. So PDO stands for PHP data objects. Let's also install this optional extension for the PHP. So in that case, we should enter this command. So we say sudo apt and then install and then php-pdo, which stands for PHP data objects, space -y, and press enter. The next step is to go and install a web server. So in order to access MariaDB, we need to have a browser to connect to Maria, as like a graphical user interface to connect to MariaDB. Instead of using like MariaDB on our terminal, we are going to install a graphical user interface to connect to MariaDB. Therefore, let's install a web server to make this happen. So for this, we are going to install, we say sudo apt install and then Apache. So we are going to use and install Apache 2 web server. So Apache 2 is one of the open source web servers of the Apache company. So I'm going to install it here on our Linux environment. Now we need to restart the Apache to make sure that Apache web server included PHP and everything. So I'm going to type sudo systemctl restart and then Apache 2 to make sure that everything works very well. Fine, no error messages, nothing here. All right. So far we have completed 11 steps. Now let's go to steps number 12 to 16. So I maximize the page here for you just to give you an impression that what are we going to do in these steps. I told you that we need to install a graphical user interface to connect to our MariaDB rather than using the terminal command to access to MariaDB. So for this, we're going to use adminer. We are going to use adminer to connect to our MariaDB on our Linux environment. So adminer is a lightweight and easy to use web-based database management tool. This is the definition of that. And we need to download adminer from this, link. But we can also try to, install it using wget and then write down the correct URL in front of it and then -o and then adminer.php. Then we need to move adminer to the web server's directory, access adminer by finding our Linux IP address, open our browser, and then log into adminer. So these are like the steps to install adminer and log into it. Now we need to go and then enter this command. I'm just gonna copy this command and right click here. So I just copied this command, right click here, and then press enter to install Adminer lightweight and easy to use web-based database management tool. So 100% complete, no errors. So the next step is to move Adminer to the web servers directory. Our web server is Apache 2 web server at the moment. So we need to apply this command. So we need to apply sudo. So we need to move it. So sudo mv adminer.php into /var/www/html, and then I press enter. So we moved this adminer.php file into our web server directory. Look, the reason that we had to install PHP because we have to use Adminer, and Adminer is uses PHP to connect to MariaDB. Therefore, we had to install PHP in order to run our Adminer PHP file. So we moved here. We moved Adminer PHP into our web servers directory. Now the next step is to access Adminer by providing the Linux IP address. In order to find out your Linux IP address, or in my system, my Linux IP address, we have to type this command. So this is the command. So let's press enter, and this is the IP address of my Linux environment. Excellent. Now we have to go to our web browser. We are already in the web browser, and we need to type our let's say this IP address. We need to copy this. Let me copy this IP address. So I just right click on this, and then it copied and pasted here in the terminal command. So we need to type http the IP address /adminer.php. Now it says that system is MySQL, SQLite, PostgreSQL, or all of these databases you can connect. We are going to accept MySQL. The server is localhost because we have installed it in our localhost. The username is root. The password is root123 semicolon. The database name, I'm not going to enter any database name. Let's click on login, and look, wow. So we successfully connected to MariaDB database. So using MySQL I extension, it shows us this, and these are like the tables that you see. These are like the default tables that you see in your MariaDB database. There are links, SQL commands, import and export. Now, let me go back to my presentation. So for this, we need to go to Sakila database link. This is the link, https://dev.mysql.com/doc/index-other.html. So we are now in this page. So I have already entered it here. Now, if you scroll down and go to this, you need to find out the Sakila database. So we need to download the Sakila database. So the Sakila database is here. In that case, we need to download the TGZ version. So I'm going to click on the TGZ version of the Sakila database. So let's click to download it. Now I have successfully downloaded this. I'm going to here to click on files icon. Go to a files icon. This is sakila-db.tar.gz. This is the file that I have downloaded, but I need to move this file from my downloads folder into the Linux files, because the Linux files is the files that we can use in our Linux terminal. However, it is also possible to, for example, right click here and then share this folder with Linux and then use it in our Linux, but I don't want to do that at the moment. I would like to copy this. I would like to, let's say cut. I would like to cut this file, go to the Linux files and paste it here. And then we have sakila-db.jar.tz. So if I double click on this, there is a folder called sakila-db. So let's right click on the sakila-db, copy, go back to our Linux files, paste it here. So we have now the required data. Now I'm gonna delete this this file. Now we have sakila-db, sakila.mwb, sakila-schema.sql, and sakila-data.sql. We need to import this schema and we need to import this data. But this schema is 24 kilobyte. This data is 3.2 megabyte. There is a restriction here in our MariaDB, which I'm going to show you in a moment. So when we go back to our when we go back to our adminer PHP in our local host, we can go and import something into our MariaDB or create a new database. So I'm going to choose files and then go to Linux files, SakilaDB, and choose Sakila schema, and then open it here. It says that the size limit should be less than 2 megabyte. So let's execute this one. This is less than 2 megabyte because this is 24 kilobytes. So it's been successfully, let's say, executed. Let's go back to the server. You see Sakila database has been successfully created. All the tables and metadata are here. When I go and open actor, look, we see actor. If I click on select data, it says that no rows. Select the star from actor. It returns nothing because we didn't import our data yet. Now we also need to import our data. So for this, we need to go back to our server, go to import, and then choose the file. But the file limitation should be, let's say, less than 2 megabyte. This file is 3.2 megabyte. If I choose this one and press open and try to execute this, it says that it will give us an error message. It gives us an error message that the maximum allowed file size is 2 megabytes, but this is 3.2 megabytes. So what should we do with in this case? Now, let's go back here into Sakila-data.sql, right click on it. There is text here. I open it using text. So this is, as you can see here, it is a very, very long, file. We need to remove a few number of records just to be able to to enter this data just as a test into our Sakila database. So I'm gonna remove several lines here. So let's start from line number 46406. So 46406. So this is the line number. From this line number, I'm gonna choose this line number and then use shift and then page up to go up and try to remove a few number of records. And here, this is exactly what we have changed. So we have used commit, but we didn't change this colon to semicolon. We need to do that in order to be able to, insert the data correctly. So I enter semicolon, close the file, save it. Again, we click on choose files. This time we choose sakila-data.sql. It is 2 megabyte. Open, execute. 61 queries executed. Okay, so in this case we didn't receive any error messages. So if we go back to our server, if we go to Sakila database, we can see all the tables and everything here. If we open actor table and try to select data here, look, the data are here. When we scroll down to the last record, the last record is 200 Torah temple, similar to the applications that we have implemented in our Windows machine and in our Mac OS machine. So now MariaDB is okay. Sakila database has been successfully imported to our MariaDB. Adminer works very well. Our web server, Apache 2 web server, perfectly installed our PHP extension for the PHP programming language has been successfully installed. So far, everything is good. Now let's go back to our presentation. So let me go to the slideshow. Now we have downloaded the Sakila database and then imported all these things for the Sakila database in our adminer web page. Then we have to double check for Java Development Kit or JDK. So first of all, this is the way that you can install your Java development environment in your terminal. But before even we try to install anything, let's just type Java -version. When we type Java -version or just simply Java and press enter, look, it says that command not found. This means that we don't have any installed Java packages on our system. So then in that case, first of all, don't forget to update your apt all the time. So we say sudo apt and then update. If you want to upgrade, you can also, of course, upgrade it. So sudo apt update. So this is the update list. And then we can install, let's say, the required JDK or Java Development Kit. So we can say sudo apt install. And we want to install default-jdk. Default-jdk for this environment, most probably the default would be Java or JDK version 17. So you can also install any JDK that you prefer. Now we are going to accept like default-jdk. It says that, do you want to continue? Yes, I would like to continue to install it. So it tries to install. Look, it says that OpenJDK version 17. So let's wait for it to finish. All right, look, it shows us Java 17 OpenJDK. So the Java 17 OpenJDK has been successfully installed on our terminal. Now the next step is to download MariaDB connector for the Java programming language. So if you want to connect your Java application to MariaDB, you need to have a connector, you need to have a driver, you need to have an API. In order to do that, you need to go to https://mariadb.com/downloads/connectors to download the appropriate connector or appropriate API for this. I have already opened this, let's say this URL here for us. So when you go here to this URL, you can choose your programming language, because it might show you C connector, it might show you like other connectors, but we are interested in Java connector. So we say Java 8 plus connector, we choose Java 8 plus connector. We are going to choose 3.5.2-GA and then platform independent. We choose platform independent. So we choose Java driver and then try to download this Java driver file. So this one has been successfully downloaded. It shows me here that this one has been successfully downloaded, no problem. Now let's go to files again, into our downloads. Look, this MariaDB-java-client, this file, I'm gonna cut this, go to the Linux files and paste it here. Now we have this driver here. Now we have this driver here, the jar file. This is the jar file, Java archive file. So this is the driver to connect our Java application to MariaDB database. Now let's go back to our presentation again. What are we supposed to do now? Now we are supposed to install VS Code. In order to install VS Code, we have to go back to our terminal. This is our terminal. And in order to install VS Code, we have to follow the following instructions. So sudo apt update to update the list of updated, versions of the updated applications. And then we need to install, we need to say sudo apt upgrade if there are any updated versions to really become upgraded. So I'm going to type sudo apt upgrade -y. So nothing has changed, everything is updated, no problem. And then we need to go to the official VS Code download page, this page, code.visualstudio.com, and then try to download our Visual Studio Code. I have already opened the file, URL here for you, so code.visualstudio.com. And when you go to this one, you can find out that Debian version. So we are gonna download the Debian version. I'm gonna click on the dep. .dep means that I'm gonna download the Debian version. So when we download this, we go here to our downloads. This is code Debian version has been successfully downloaded here. Now we really need to install this, but let's go back to our presentation. So in our presentation, I have written here for you, you need to go to official VS Code download page. We have this file, and then we need to download the file. So we have downloaded this dep file. I'm gonna double click on this and then install. It says that install app with Linux. Okay. Type Visual Studio Code. Now we are in Visual Studio Code. Let me maximize the page here for you. So in the left side, you can find out Explorer or press Ctrl-Shift-E, search, secure source control, run and debug, and extensions. So these are all the things that are available here. You can also see here in the left side, you have accounts and you have manage, which is basically your settings. So we need to go to extensions to make sure that we have successfully installed like the extension pack for Java. So when you go here, you should make sure that you go here to extension pack for Java and make sure that you have installed it. Let me just uninstall it from my computer. So when you go here, you just need to install it. When you click on install, it should successfully install all these other extensions together with extension pack for Java from Microsoft. So all of these, let's say, extensions. So once you download and complete these extensions, you go back to Explorer. When you go back to Explorer, you can now see that Create Java Project option is appeared. So we click on Create Java Project, and then we go and choose No Build Tools. It says that input the Java project name. I call it MariaDB Java Project 1. So MariaDB Java Project 1, and then press enter. So look, I have created MariaDB Java Project 1. If I go to files and to Linux, when I go to Linux, you can see Java projects, and inside Java projects, I have now successfully created a new Java project called MariaDB Java Project 1. When you go inside it, there is src, lib, and readme file. Do you remember this jar file for in order to connect our Java application to MariaDB? This is a jar file. So we need to cut this from this folder, go to MariaDB Java project, go to the lib, and then paste it here. So now we have the driver that is required to connect our Java application to MariaDB. Now we have created this, and then it says that the Java app, but for this I have to go back to my presentation and show you the next step. When we go back to my presentation and show you the next step is to show you paste the following Java code into the file. I have already created this simple Java source code, so I'm just gonna copy this. I need just to copy this source code I need to copy this source code, copy, and then go to Visual Studio Code, and instead of app.java, I'm just gonna paste it here. Look, the name of my class is MariaDB Connect. Doesn't matter, I can change it to app. So now my class app is as follow. So in my class app, I have this Java application. Let's first of all show you something. Before I run it, let me show you something. When you copy and paste the jar file, when you go to the Java projects, in your reference libraries, when you try to open reference libraries and refresh it, you should be able to, let me maximize it. You should be able to see MariaDB-java-client.jar file. So this means that when I copy this this jar file into the lib folder, it will be automatically added into our reference libraries. So this means that if I try to run this application, it shouldn't show me any error messages but connect to MariaDB. Well, yes, this application has been successfully connected to MariaDB, and the last one is 200 Torah temple, similar to the result sets that I have shown you in a Windows machine and also in a Mac OS machine. So in this case also, I have used import java.sql.connection. So this is like a connection is connection or a session with a specific database. SQL statements are executed and results are returned within the context of a connection. So this is a connection objects database is able to provide information describing its tables and so on and so forth. So if you really would like to connect to a database, you need to import java.sql.connection. And then after that, you also need to have a driver manager. Driver manager is the basic service for managing a set of JDBC driver. We want to connect to our Maria database, so we use this JDBC driver for our driver connection. We use MariaDB to connect. So in that case, firstly we use the connection, then we use the driver manager. In that case, we use like MariaDB driver manager to connect, for example, to our Maria database. We have a result set to show our table result, the 200 records that it shows us. We also have SQL exception. It means that if we have any exceptions, this SQL exception is going to catch them. And we also have the statement to show us any, the statements that we are, static statements of the SQL commands that we are going to run. For example, we have this select statement that I have written here for you, select a star from actor limit to 200. We can also remove limit 200 to just show all of them, or we can limit it to 10, 20, whatever we want to. So as a URL, we use JDBC MariaDB localhost 3306 Sakila database, similar to the Windows and Mac OS machine. We have user root, we have password root 123 semicolon, and we try to connect to a MariaDB using this driver manager, and driver manager is going to use this URL, this username, and this password. And then we are going to run this, we are going to create a statement using this connection, and then we are going to set our result set using this static statement, this selected statement, and save it into our result set. And once we have saved it into our result set, we can use a while loop to just go through all of the records in our result set and print out all of the records and columns inside that result set. In that case, it will return the information of actor ID, first name, and for example last name. Anything happens in between, such as for example select the statement issue, so let's change select to select one, run this application, it should return an exception. In that case, it returns error. It returns this error message, error 1064. You have an error in your SQL syntax. So this is SQL syntax, and it says that java.sql.sql syntax exception. So you have an error in your SQL syntax, and so on and so forth. So you can understand that you need to fix your SQL syntax in order to proceed. So this catch SQL exception will catch your exception, and the e.print stack trace will print out all this information that you see. The e.print stack trace is responsible to show you or to print out this information here for you. It's a very simple application. Now we have successfully connected our simple Java application to our MariaDB, but Sakila database in our MariaDB, specifically actor table. So we can say, just instead of limit to 200, we can say select a star from actor, where actor underline ID is equal to 200. Similar to the previous examples that I have shown you in the Mac OS machine and also in the Windows machine. What happens? Select a star from actor, where actor underline ID is equal to that. So I'm gonna rerun this. Look, it will return 200 Torah temple because I set that the condition where actor underline ID is equal to 200. Now let's go back to the original select statement. Select a star from actor, limit to 200. So this is the result set that it returns. And when I go back to my when I go back to my adminer, you can also see that the last record is 200 Torah temple in our MariaDB database. So that's step number 22. So, and then in Explorer, I have shown you in Explorer, you can scroll down and open projects, click on the plus button, reference libraries, add MariaDB jar file. But you can do this, let's say, you can do step 23 using this approach that I have written here for you, or simply I have shown you that you can just go and copy and paste that jar file into this folder, lib folder, just copy and paste it here, and it will automatically shown in your VS Code. You don't have to go through these steps like scroll down to open the Java project, click plus button and add it there. I'm talking about that part. So if you go to your Explorer part, this is the Java project. When you open it, and you can also find out the information about the reference libraries, and then you can press on add, and then add this jar file. You don't have to do that because we have copied and pasted pasted this jar file into our project, so you don't have to follow this step. And then run your Java application, which we have successfully executed our Java application without any issues. In the next session, I'm gonna teach you how to set up all these steps, write down a Python application to connect it to MariaDB in Linux environment in your Google Chromebook Pro.